You want to know the single most useful secret to start speaking French? I mean, right now? Okay, let's do this.
What if I told you that the #1 rule for French verbs, the key that unlocks literally hundreds of conversations, is something you can master in just a few minutes?
No, really. 5 minutes. Give me the next 5 minutes and I'll give you the foundation for having a basic conversation in French. Let's get started.
So, what is this big secret? Well, it all comes down to one simple pattern that actually governs the vast majority of verbs in the French language.
We're talking about what are called ER verbs. They're the most common group of verbs in French, and here's the magic part. Once you learn the pattern for just one of them, you've basically learned the pattern for hundreds. It's an incredible shortcut.
And we're not talking about weird, obscure verbs either. These are the essentials, like parler, to speak, aimer, to like or love, jouer, to play, and étudier, to study. You know, the words you're going to use all the time.
All right, let's get right to the formula. This isn't about memorizing a bunch of complicated charts. It's a super simple two-step rule you can use every single time.
Here it is. Step 1, take any of these verbs and just chop off the ER at the end. That leaves you with what's called the stem. Step 2, just add the correct ending depending on who's doing the action. That's it. It's that simple.
Let's break this down with our first example, parler, which means to speak. For I speak, you take that stem, parle, and you add an E, je parle. For you speak, it's the stem parle plus es, tu parles. You see? The pattern just keeps going. Take a good look at this table. This is your master key. And hey, here's a pro tip that's going to make you sound way more natural. That ending for they, ils, or elles, the ENT, it's completely silent. So il parle sounds exactly the same as il parle. It's a classic beginner mistake to pronounce that ending, but now you know the secret.
And just like that, you can say one of the most important phrases there is, je parle français. I speak French. See? You just did it. You conjugated a verb and made a perfect, complete sentence.
The best part is, this rule just keeps on working. Let's see how you can use it to talk about what you like and dislike with the verb aimer, which means to like or to love.
So using aimer is super easy. J'aime le chocolat means I like chocolate. So what about dislikes? To say you don't like something, you just wrap the verb with 2 little words, ne aime pas. So I don't like coffee becomes je n'aime pas le café.
And you might have noticed that ne turned into ne with an apostrophe. Well, that's just a simple rule in French. If the verb starts with a vowel sound, like aimer does, then ne gets squished into ne. It just helps everything flow a little better when you say it.
Okay, let's do one more essential verb to really make this stick. We're going to talk about hobbies using jouer, which means to play. Same rule applies. Drop the ER, add your ending.
Now, jouer has a tiny little quirk, but it's an easy one to remember. When you're talking about sports, you use jouer à, like in je joue au foot. But for musical instruments, you use jouer de, as in tu joues du piano. It's a small detail, but it makes a huge difference.
All right, you've learned the rule, you've seen the examples. I think it's time we put your new skill to the test right now. You are so ready for this.
Let's start with this one. Using everything we just covered, how would you say we play cards in French? Did you get it? The subject is we, so that ending is ons. Nous jouons aux cartes. That's fantastic. Okay, let's try another one. How would you say they speak Spanish? And hey, remember that little pronunciation tip we talked about?
And the answer is, il parle espagnol, with that silent en at the end. You're really getting the hang of this. Do you see that? It really is that simple. In just a few minutes, you've gone from learning one simple rule to building complete, correct, and actually useful sentences in French. That is a huge step. So here's the bottom line. You now have the key that unlocks hundreds of the most common French verbs. The only question left is, what are you going to say first?